it's Chris here. I've been reading All Out, the collection that was edited together by Sandra Mitchell. I think it's like 17 or maybe it's 14 young adult authors all writing stories on the queer spectrum about like queer teens in the past or queer people in the past. It's all historical fiction. And I just really have been enjoying it, and I want to review it, and I want to give it justice, so what I'm going to be doing is reviewing the stories in sections so that I can talk about each story, because I wanted to do that after reading the first few. I was like, that's definitely something I'm going to want to do. So the first set, I'm going to be reviewing 5 stories, the first 5 stories. After that, I might just do 4 in each video. I think that will make it so it ends up being like, I don't know how many videos. 4 videos? I'm not sure. But yeah, this is part 1. We're going to be talking about the first 5 stories. I'm really excited for it. I got this copy from the library. It's a library copy. But I kind of want to pick it up already. I'm not even all the way through it, but I already want to pick it up. Sorry. Alright, but yeah. Let's just jump in this and we're going to tell you about those first 5 stories. The first story was Anna Marie McLemore's Roja, and the language was so striking. I was very taken aback in a good way. Like, I felt like I was being brought to another world almost immediately. And just beautiful language, beautiful descriptions. I read that first page and a half out loud to myself, and I just was like, wow, this is amazing. That's something Anna Marie McLemore really can do with her writing. I just love that. I loved it so much. I also love the plot and the story. It's kind of a Little Red Riding Hood retelling a little bit, I guess, but like, it's a Little Red Riding Hood inspired, I guess I would say. It's about a girl who known as La Roja and a boy named La Loba. So the love interest, the thing that made queer is that the love interest is trans. La Loba is trans. And La Roja has this power, this rage inside of her that can make people sick. It's like her rage can poison them. And it's a little bit of a revenge story. And I love revenge stories. Once we started getting into it, which is a very short piece, these are kind of short stories, but like once we got to like what was going to happen, I was like, oh yes, take your revenge, honey, do it. I'm here for it. Because I was just like, yes. And then as the story kept going, I was like, I would totally read an entire book of this. I would watch this show, like La Roja and La Loba, like taking down the system. I would watch that anyway. It was great. I just loved it. It was like 5 stars right out the bat. Like something that I was like, yes, this is making me really excited to read the rest of the stories in this collection. Now, the second story, The Sweet Trade, is by Natalie C. Parker. It's about runaway brides in the 1700s, and it's like these brides are seeking kind of like an adventure. It starts with one woman who has been planning. She's getting married to her second husband, but she's not really going to get married to him. She's already made her plan to get on that ship and leave and just flee. And then she finds another runaway bride out on the sea, and the two girls start to fall for each other. The main character wants to go out and be a pirate. And there's so many things I loved about this, but I think the thing that I loved the most was the story showed insecurities that these women had about being able to do what they want to do. Are they going to be able to go out and be pirates because they're women? And them learning to navigate that world by pretending to be boys for everyone else, but knowing that who they are to each other. And I just really liked it. I don't know if that made any sense, but I loved it. It was great. Never read anything by Natalie Parker, but loved that. And They Don't Kiss at the End by Nyla Magruder was the next story. It's about a black girl named Dee. It's really about her coming to terms with her asexuality in the 1970s, and I absolutely loved it. Because they're not really, she doesn't have the term for what she's feeling, but that's really what it is. And I just love how clearly in the 70s we were. That was one thing that I really loved. The bits of jargon, the phrases, things like that. But I think the favorite thing about it was we don't have to have ourselves figured out in one night. It was something that the character that she has a relationship with says in the story. And I don't know why that struck me as something in the story that really struck me. I don't know, but it did. Everything up to this point was like 5 stars. The first 2 were 5 stars. This one there was a little bit of a lull for me, but I still really enjoyed it. Really, really appreciate it. Seeing an asexual black character kind of trying to figure things out in a time period where that wasn't going to be very easy for her to do, and I loved it. But it still was like a 3.5, 3.7. You know what I mean? It was just, the pacing was very different than what we had seen up to this point, and it just didn't hit for me right away, but still really loved it. The next story is Burntumber by Mackenzie Lee. I still haven't reviewed The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee because I'm a mess, but I will get around to it. But this reminded me of what the things I liked in that story a lot. Just Mackenzie Lee knows how to build in this really brilliant settings. We're in 1638 Amsterdam, and write these characters and desires in a way that's just so poignant. You know what I mean? The main character in the story, Constantine, he is in, I already told you the time period, he's an apprentice to an artist, and just these moments where he's describing the boy he fantasizes about and different things like that, where I just wasn't ready because it was so intense, and I just loved that type of thing. It was so well done. It was great. He's the best the main character is the best in his class. He's always focused, and that's until the day the new model is the guy he has a crush on. And I really love the story. I love the turns in the story. The ship that happens is the ship that I want it to happen. There was a moment where he's trying to look away from the nude model because he doesn't want to look at certain parts of the nude model, and what he starts thinking about in his head cracked me up. I was dead. I could not. I was just like, oh my god. Also, totally, there was kind of a sort of an I like your boots moment, which I think is such a funny thing to me. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, like if you guys haven't seen the Love Simon trailer, but like the I like your boots thing, there was totally a little bit of a thing like that, and I loved it, and it cracked me up because I was like, gay, man, gay. Anyway, I love this one, honestly. I kept being shook. Like, I feel for Constantine throughout the story, and it made me want to read more Mackenzie Lee, more so than anything else has, actually. So, yeah. The last story in the set was A Dresser in the Chambermaid by Robin Talley. I'm a big fan of Robin Talley from the books that I have read from her. Giuseppe and Me from the Real Story Safe Sex Project. Love that story. And I absolutely love Evolution of Ethan Poe, which is one of my favorite books ever, probably. Over there on my shelf somewhere. So I was kind of excited for this one, but I didn't know exactly what to expect. This story is about a chambermaid to a royal princess. She's a princess, and who gains the infatuation of the new royal dresser. The new royal dresser is from the country. Her name's Mary, and she doesn't really know how things work and for like the royal families and things like that. So Susanna, who's worked for this royal family her entire life, is in a very different spot than Mary is. Essentially, the princess orders Susanna to help Mary learn how to do up her hair in the way that the women of the court do, so Mary can do that as well as dress her. And the two of them have like this very immediate kind of connection, flirtation thing going on that builds into a little something more. This one picked up for me when we got some conflict. I was surprised. Felt a little bit middle of the road before that to me. But when we got to that conflict, I was just like, wow. Robin Talley did it again. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely would read an entire book of them. Oh my god, I would. Yes, I would have. Absolutely. The chambermaid and the royal and the dressmaker. Yes. The dresser and the chambermaid. Yes. Like, it was just really good. Alright, that's it for this 5 stories. You can see this is a little bit long, but that's why I wanted to separate this into some parts. Because I knew there's going to be a lot, like, I mean, I understand, like, they're shorts, but, like, there's still things I want to say. I want to tell you how I felt about them, each individually, because they are very different stories from different authors. I'm really excited to read the next set. As of this point, I haven't read the next 4, but I know I'm going to be reading one by Melinda Lowe, which I'm really, really excited about. And, oh my gosh, who else? Ooh. I don't know Kate Selsa. I don't know her. But the story's called The Coven, and if you guys don't know, I am super into that. Elliot Wakes is going to be coming up as well, and I'm just very excited about that because I love Elliot Wakes. Elliot Wakes is one of my favorite people on Instagram and Twitter. So that's going to be really cool too. I'm just really excited to read more of these. I hope you all enjoy this video. I hope you all enjoyed the rest. Watch the next ones in the series when those come out. I will see you all in my next video. Goodbye.